Howdy folks, I'm pretty excited today. I got a project I've been working on for a while and I finally got something to show for it. I got a 3D printer, I printed something out so I could make a custom ice mold, and now I got ice duck. So I dove into this new hobby to try and make custom 3D prints so I could make molds from them. I went ahead and bought a 3D printer. Now, I'm not a super technical person, but 3D printing has gotten to the point where you don't really need to be a technical-minded person to use a 3D printer. This one wasn't too expensive, and it pretty much worked right out of the box. Basically, you can download free 3D models off the internet that you can print on your printer. I wanted to make a rubber duck floating on the top of my drink, so I found a free rubber duck model, and I went ahead and downloaded that. That I brought into Blender, and then I just modeled this bottom ice part in Blender. Now my goal with this was I wanted to make a shape that was bulkier on the top. I've had issues in the past where the ice wants to float up, and I thought if it's less buoyant at the bottom, if the most floaty bit is at the top, maybe it'll float up and stay upright. That was my hope. To make the actual mold, I used Sorta Clear. This is a food-safe silicone mold. It's the same stuff I used to make the ice bear. You can check that out too if you want to. Now you just mix it 1-to-1 and pour it over your model. And once the mold cures, my plan is to use my standard water bottle coozie method to make the clear ice in this shape. Now you do have to cut a hole in the top of the mold to get the water in, and you also want to cut a hole in the bottom of the mold to get the water out, and so that the cloudy ice can have a place to go. Now I was making this mold, it did do something a little unexpected. The model kind of floated up and floated weird in the mold material. I didn't think it would float up through this thick liquid, but it did. If I do this again, I'm going to try and figure out a way of either clamping this in place while the mold forms, or just gluing it to the bottom, or something like that. So I made this mold in a water bottle of a certain size that I knew would fit inside a bigger water bottle that I had. If you try something similar and you want to make one of these molds, you do want the mold to sit at the top of the water bottle you're using to make the ice. This one sort of sits by friction, just by luck. It sort of sticks at the top for some reason. If that doesn't work, you can always put something in the bottom to raise the mold up in the water bottle. That might be something I could 3D print as well. Also, this bottle is a little bit too short. This is one I had cut previously, and so some of the cloudiness of the ice sort of creeps up into the bottom of the ice duck. I don't really mind it though. I think it looks kind of cool like this. I could always get a new bottle and cut it a little taller and try this again and try and make it totally clear. I might try that in the future. Anyway, let's check this out in an old-fashioned. So it doesn't float perfectly all the time, but it is pretty good. And you can sort of joggle it around if you need to. I might adjust the model on the next one, maybe make the top part a little thicker and the bottom a little thinner to make it float more upright. That concept still seems to be valid. But if you take your garnish and sort of wedge it in between the ice and the glass, it sort of sits perfectly, and that's pretty cool. So I am super pleased with this. The duck's head is a little bit fragile. It's pretty easy to crack it off if you knock it in the sink or whack it into something on the freezer, but other than that, very, very pleased. I'm gonna try and make some more molds and stuff on the 3D printer. If you have any good ideas for what might make a cool ice shape, let me know down in the comments. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Funky duck. Funky duck. Funky duck. Funky duck. The duck's funky, y'all.